she was always upbeat and happy and, wanted to make the environment around her a happy place.
She loved to make people laugh and smile. She constantly made videos of her own and Snapchat videos.
They seemed happy, honestly, and they seemed like they were in love.
There is.
But I didn't know things were going bad like they were.
I want my grandson, and I want him now. Do you understand that?
This case kind of stands out versus other cases as far as it being very brutal.
Where are you going with our child? I never wanted to be wrong about something so much in my life.
It's Christmas 1999 in Henderson, Kentucky. 36-year-old Richard Groves videotapes the annual Randolph family gathering at Grandma Mimi's house.
There she goes, a pretty little girl. You don't like that old lady, do you?
This is 10-month-old Chloe Randolph with her proud father, 29-year-old Jay.
And of course, you could tell I'm already the protective father. Those big blue eyes. Christmas was a big event because we would all get together and all of my siblings and my mom and their kids. And then, of course, Chloe.
Chloe was born February 10th, 1999. She is Jay and his partner Renee's first child together.
She was definitely a daddy's girl. If I left, she always wanted to go with me. It was always daddy, daddy, daddy. That's your first child and ends up being your only daughter. She kind of spoiled me instead of me spoiling her because she was very easy.
Chloe's Uncle Richard focuses on Grandma Mimi as she hands out the presents.
My mother loved Christmas. I think that was probably her favorite holiday because it was a chance to get all of her children together and all of her grandkids. She would sit there regardless of what was going on and patiently wait for her next gift.
I think Chloe likes the box more than anything. Yeah.
Chloe was more interested in the bows than, the different sizes and the different colors.
Chew on it! It's a chew toy!
A year later, Renee gives birth to her second child, Jason.
Chloe was 14 months old when Jason was born. If he would start crying or anything, she was always there to try to soothe him and give him a toy.
Despite the joy of a new arrival, Renee and Jay's relationship is in trouble.
Before Jason was born, there was turmoil. There was a rift in between us. We went our separate ways. I ended up having Chloe and Jason with me.
Jay and Renee separate in 2001. Jay and the kids move into a duplex right next door to Jay's mom, Grandma Mimi.
I had to rely on her to take care of Chloe and Jason and watch them while I was working.
Christmas Eve 2002. Once again, Uncle Richard videotapes the action.
That's yours? That's yours? That's a biggie.
3-year-old Chloe opens her gift from Grandma Mimi.
What's good, Chloe?
Where's mine?
What's good, Chloe?
She got a microphone.
What's this?
My mother would always try to encourage encourage Chloe to be more present. She's trying to figure out turn it on and sing, but she doesn't want them staring at her. And now she's trying not to be the center of attention.
Uh-oh.
But Chloe's baby brother Jason enjoys the spotlight.
I think Jason, at that point in time, he was probably more daring.
Jay distracts his son so that Chloe can play with her present.
Power Ranger. Oh, Uncle Pat's getting your Power Ranger.
Go play with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Play with it, Uncle Pat.
Put it over your butt.
Sing a song, Chloe.
5 days later, on December 29th, Jay goes on a first date with 29-year-old Christy Sutton.
We went to a place in Evansville, Indiana, on the west side called Logan's Roadhouse. And it was nice. It was a good first date.
I just really enjoyed his company and him being around, and that was just something that I wanted to pursue long term. He did have these 2 young children that he was raising. I just thought that was a good quality in a man that even to this day I will always admire him for.
Come here.
Chloe was a little standoffish. I'm sure that there was that thought in the back of her mind of, who's this trying to take my dad from me?
And then Jason was just Jason. Jason was your typical little boy that was a little bit on the wild side.
The progression of mine and Christy's relationship was really good.
A couple months later, we were just kind of casually sitting there, and he said, "Would you marry me?" And I said, "I think I might."
Jay and Christy tie the knot on March 14th, 2003.
We went and got married on our lunch hour, and went back to work. It was just, hey, we just did it. I learned that I was pregnant the beginning of March of 2003. So I went from single to being married to having 2 children with a third on the way.
Chloe and Jason had taken to her very well. She's an outstanding mother, but she was also a very good friend to them.
Christy gives birth to baby Brecken on October 2nd, 2003.
Christmas 2003, it was a fun Christmas because, Brecken was just born.
Whose birthday do we celebrate Christmas?
I would say that Chloe was excited, because she was older now, and it would give her more of an opportunity to test her protective mother skills. It was definitely unforgettable. You had Brecken was a newborn, me and Christy were married, and Chloe and Jason. So yeah, it was definitely a special Christmas.
It was just a really good moment in time. Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought that it would turn out the way it did.
In the summer of 2014, the Randolph family visit Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana. Christy records a precious memory of 2 of her family. She captures 15-year-old Chloe as she straps into a ride. In the seat beside her is her brother, John Michael.
John Michael was born on November 29th, 2006.
Don't let him do it, John Michael.
Chloe was very protective of John Michael because he was the youngest, making sure they're locked in. Here in a second, she's going to attempt to hold his hand just to reassure him that big sister is there to take care of him.
You don't want to hold your hand. Well, yeah, that's normal.
last one there on a ride called Liberty Launch. He's actually the only one that would ever do any of these rides with her.
Daddy said they'd be fine, but Mama was always worried.
No, he's not. He's not. He's fine.
My baby's
He's
crying.
fine now.
They both loved that day. I think John Michael was scared and he wouldn't admit it. I was scared.
1 year later, Chloe is all dressed up for her boyfriend's prom night.
This is Chloe going to prom. And of course, she has to throw her thumbs up. Hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad!
We had went to the hair salon that morning. She got her hair colored, had her makeup done, had her hair dyed.
Her boyfriend, he was 2 years older than her, so they just kind of grew apart. Chloe was a very dedicated student and graduated with an advanced diploma a year and a half early above her graduating class.
In August 2016, Chloe enrolls at Henderson Community College.
She wanted to become a hospice nurse. And so when she enrolled in college, she started working at Easter Seals.
Easter Seals is a rehabilitation center, but they have a program for mentally challenged adults in their households. That kind of went along with her being a hospice nurse in a sense. It's about caring and being an advocate for people that can't be for themselves. And that's why she just loved the job.
In spring 2017, someone new recognizes Chloe's caring nature.
I think he said all the right things. He made her feel special.
I remember she had texted me and told me that she had got a new boyfriend. I remember her describing him as very, nice and giving. It just looked picture perfect.
19-year-old Muhammad Abdikadir, known to his friends as Gabriel, was born in Somalia. In 2016, his family sent him and his two older siblings to Owensboro, Kentucky for a chance at a better life. Gabriel is studying to become a phlebotomist, a healthcare worker who specializes in blood draws.
They seemed happy, honestly, and they seemed like they were in love.
The first time that I met Gabriel was about 3 weeks after Chloe had told me about him.
Oh, of course she was nervous. She was afraid of what her dad was going to say, because Dad can be quite brutal at first meeting him.
He was respectful to my daughter. And, as a parent, that's what I expect. That's what I want.
Chloe and Gabriel move into a duplex in July 2017. A few weeks later, Chloe calls her father to break some exciting news.
Chloe actually called me and said, "Dad, I'm getting married." I didn't believe her. An hour later or 2 hours later, she actually texted me a picture of the marriage certificate. Was it a little shocking? Yes, it was.
They just took two of her friends and got married at the courthouse.
Just over 1 month later, Chloe reveals another surprise. She's pregnant.
She was worried that I would say, "You're too young, you're stupid, you're ruining your life." But I was extremely happy.
She said, "Are you excited?" And I said, "Well, of course I'm excited." And I was, because they all knew I loved babies.
About the time when Chloe found out she was pregnant, I started to see a change in Gabriel. He didn't seem interested to be involved in a lot of it.
He didn't go to a lot of appointments with her. In the beginning, she would just say, well, he didn't want to go. And it was almost like she was making an excuse for him so her dad wouldn't get upset.
Christy went with her to all of gynecological appointments, and any checkups, I would go with her. Chloe was, maybe feeling, okay, I'm going at this alone. Even though my parents are with me, it should be my husband.
June 13th, 2018. Chloe arrives at Deaconess Hospital in Henderson to deliver her baby by C-section.
Okay, squeeze it better.
There he is.
After being absent for months, Gabriel suddenly wants to be involved in the birth of his child.
It was actually intended for Christy to go into the labor and delivery room with Chloe. But before they took her back, he changed his mind and he wanted to go into the labor and delivery room. Gabriel hadn't participated in anything. But out of respect for my daughter, I still handled myself in a very professional manner.
Chloe gives birth to Slimani Abdikadir at 9:30 a.m. in the morning, June 14th, 2018. They nickname him Slim.
After Slim's arrival, it was an overwhelming feeling of joy, Becoming granddad, I was elated. I was extremely happy.
Within hours of Slim's birth, Gabriel makes a surprising announcement.
The exact words Gabriel said to me was, I need you to take Chloe home with you to your house and get this baby under control and on a sleeping schedule because I don't want to be disturbed and woke up. And I looked at him with the most ridiculous look that you could possibly ever have. It's a newborn baby. You're going to lose sleep.
Maybe a week after Slim was born, he packed his stuff and moved to Owensboro with his sister. To walk away from your child, I don't care who you are, I just can't understand how anyone could ever do that.
Slim is less than 5 months old when Gabriel files for divorce. 1 month later, he demands full custody of the baby.
After all of this time, Gabriel didn't want to be a part of Slim's life. And now all of a sudden, the attorney gets in touch with Chloe and says, just come sign this paperwork. He wants full custody and $500 a week.
It's either my way or no way. That was Gabriel's attitude. It's all, you're going to do it my way, and if you don't like it, then you're going to suffer the consequences.
Once Chloe said that she was looking for lawyers for a custody battle, I knew that Chloe wouldn't back down just because Slimani is like her whole world. And she knew that he was safest with her. She was his mother.
Chloe schedules an appointment with the divorce lawyer for Tuesday, March 26th. 4 days before this upcoming meeting, Chloe receives a visit from Gabriel.
He wanted to take Slim because he had family coming into town and he wanted them to see Slim. So reluctantly, she agreed to let him take Slim. Within the first hour after he left with Slim, he called her and he said she would never see her son again, that he was going to leave the country,
When Gabriel hangs up, Chloe calls back and records their conversation.
Hello? Where are you going with my child?
I'm visiting my family in Minnesota, sorry.
No, you're not. Where are you going with my child?
Did I tell you? No, I just that's what I want to tell you. I don't have to give it to you, or it's written by the law of Kentucky.
I will call the Kentucky State Police. You know you're going to go to jail.
That's fine.
Where's my child?
I will not let you see your kid till we go to court.
Chloe's calling me and she's upset and she's crying, and I told my son Jason, you know, we're going to stop by Gabriel's apartment and see if anybody's there. Main intention was to ask him where my grandson was at. Within about 15 minutes, Gabriel pulls up. I already knew that Gabriel had a gun, and instead of rolling his window down, his right hand reaches in between the seat and the console. And he's opening the door up while he's doing that, and he sticks his leg out. So I take the door and slam it on his leg.
Jason records the confrontation on his phone.
I want my grandson, and I want it now. Do you understand that? I told you I love my grandson more than
I love him more than anybody else.
I love my grandson more than my own life.
When I'm asking Gabriel where my grandson is, where Slim is, he's giving me like 4 different answers.
That means I'll give you his
Lied to me.
I'm not lying to you. Your daughter did say this.
You lied to me.
We'll go get him, but we gotta find out where for him.
Gabriel's friend Isaac is in the car with him.
Get his ass in the car. I'll get in the car with you.
You're not getting out of my car with me.
Gabriel has another guy in the car with him. And I said, he can go with Jason and I'll go with you. And you can take me to where my grandson's at. And, you know, he kept saying no.
I will go get him if you don't trust you. If you're gonna bring him back to me tomorrow, I will give the
Look at me.
I'm gonna
I
leave
don't
you.
trust
I'm not trusting you.
And I said, the only thing I want to know is where's my grandson? And it kind of went downhill from there.
A bystander calls 911.
I left before the police got there. You know, Jason, I could tell he was getting upset. I went to the police station and I told the police officer, I said, I physically assaulted this man. I said, but what you don't know is that he had a gun. So officer went and called Gabriel, to then which he said, I don't want to press charges.
Gabriel's choice means that the police need not find out if Gabriel did reach for a gun during the incident. Chloe arrives at Henderson Police Department. She files an EPO, an emergency protective order, to prevent Gabriel from fleeing with Slim. A Henderson judge denies Chloe's request.
There was pertinent information that Chloe did not put in there, such as the phone call threatening to leave the country. That next morning, Chloe called me at 9:24 a.m. and told me that Gabriel called her and said that if she wanted Slim, she had to come right then. And I told her, you know, I'll be done in about 30 minutes where I'm at, and I'll come there. And she said, no. He said you couldn't come because of what happened last night. She said, I'm getting ready to go up to the door. And I said, okay. I said, just remember I love you. Call me when you get Slim and you know, let me know everything's okay. And she said, I love you too, Dad. And, you know, that's the last time I ever talked to my daughter.
West Memphis Police Department in Arkansas receives a 911 call from the Welcome Center on the Arkansas-Tennessee state border.
I think the original call was someone walking in the roadway. This was a very unusual call. Our dispatch sent a patrolman to that area. Once they arrived there was no one in the road. Dispatch advised our officers that the caller had moved to the welcome center.
The caller gives his name as Muhammad Gabriel Abdikadir. He's 300 miles from his home in Henderson, Kentucky.
Also with him was his son, Salim, and a friend named Isaac. Our patrol officer spoke with Mr. Muhammad about why he called. That aroused some more attention, and their supervisor notified me at that point. Mr. Muhammad told our officers that he believed that his spouse may have killed herself back in Kentucky. My first reaction is, why didn't you call the local police department? How did you end up here? We didn't know if he was having some kind of mental issues at the time or if there was actually a real issue in Henderson, Kentucky at the time. So we asked him to come to the station so we could find out more. And he agreed to do that. West Memphis Dispatch called Henderson, Kentucky to try to do a welfare check on the residents to see if there was any truth to what Mr. Muhammad said. At that point, I think it was very important to speak to Isaac because Isaac was the only person at that point that could possibly speak for Chloe.
What's the best way to do it? You want me to read it in English and you say it in Swahili?
Speaking with Isaac was very tricky. I don't know any Swahili. We actually had to call in a translator from the sheriff department.
You have the right to remain silent, so
once Isaac was read his Miranda rights, he agreed. He seemed very open about it.
So he said that he just goes over to the friend's house to stay the night sometimes. And he said they argue on and off. He never gets involved in the problem, so he wasn't sure exactly why they were arguing or what that was about. And he said that after that, his friend came in, just to know something had happened.
He stated that he was at the residence when Mr. Muhammad and Chloe had some kind of argument in the other room.
He said that his friend came and just told him, put some clothes on. He said he was actually resting. He said he seen blood in the house. That's right. But his friend just told him, something's going on today. Get some clothes so they can go.
He said he didn't ask any questions, but on his way out of the residence, he saw blood and saw what he thought was Chloe's feet. I got the sense that Isaac was afraid of Mr. Muhammad.
300 miles away, back in Henderson, police officers carry out a welfare check at Gabriel's apartment.
At first, patrol officers went out to that apartment complex. They knocked on the door, they could not get an answer. At that time, they called a detective to the scene. We did a search warrant and made entry to the apartment. The first thing that I noticed was blood on the floor. There was also what looks like handprints on the walls. As we made our way through the hallway, there was blood spatter on the wall. There's a closet to the right. Once we opened up that closet, Chloe's body was inside there. There was a wound that went the entirety of her neck almost. And you actually see all the impacts on her head. Also on scene in a closet, we located a bloody hammer. We located some bloody clothing. And eventually, after Chloe's body was moved, we located a bloody knife in that closet. Whenever we initially got the call, we were told that it was a suicide. Suicides are normally, when police arrive, the body is how it was whenever someone found it. People normally don't drag the body, hide it in the closet, and then leave. One of my top priorities was to get a warrant issued on Gabriel for tampering with physical evidence.
Lieutenant Taylor reads Gabriel his Miranda rights at 8:10 p.m. Slim is with him, safe and sound.
I'll wait till my lawyer's here. I'll give this to so he's here. So I'll walk up to him first.
I understand.
2 hours later, a patrol officer arrests Gabriel for tampering with physical evidence. Child Services takes temporary custody of baby Slim.
We had to go out and talk to Jay and Christy and tell them that we found Chloe.
The look in his eyes told that whole story. I knew she was gone. I was about to just crumble. Because what do? Your child's dead.
Finding out for sure that it's Chloe, it was gut-wrenching. The job as a father is to protect your family, and I failed my daughter. I couldn't protect her. One of the first things that I told Christy was, we have to find out where Slim is. So immediately I called the West Memphis, Arkansas Police Department. But then Gabriel had said, I'm not releasing him to her family.
Oh, it was awful. Chloe wanted her son to be safe, and we didn't have him yet. And we didn't want to let Chloe down. Monday morning, first thing, we immediately filed the petition to get emergency custody of Slim, and we had to get Slim from the court at 9 a.m. the next morning. The minute he seen Jay, he just lit up and started smiling and giggling, and at this point, on the way back, was the first time that Slim said, Mama.
4 days after Chloe's death in Henderson, Detective Eisenhood makes the journey to Arkansas to interview Gabriel.
Hey, my name is Drake Eisman. I'm a detective at the Henderson Police Department. We came down here just to chit-chat. West Memphis did tell us that Gabriel said that she had hit herself in the head with a hammer when she cut her throat. Trying to get the whole picture. The statements whenever we talked to Gabriel did not include suicide of any kind. It was indicating that she was murdered. Right now, the picture we have, it doesn't look good at all.
So I want to see the video that exactly what happened. Okay. She came to spend the kid for 30 minutes. Isaac will show that. He took the hammer and he hit her in her head like 3 times.
The story that he gave us was that he put the homicide on Isaac, claiming that Isaac was the one that murdered her. Gabriel tells us the night before Chloe's murder, Gabriel and Jay kind of got into a little bit of an altercation. Gabriel told us that that was the reason why Isaac was scared and why he killed Chloe.
He said, I'm worried they're going to come kill me. And you let before they come kill me, I'll go kill them all. He took a hammer and he hit her in her head like 3 times. When he hit her, I said, what did he do? He's screaming, I'm trying to call 911. He won't let me call 911. And then he went to the kitchen, he grabbed a knife, and then he just
Whenever he told us that Isaac was the one that murdered her, and the way that he described it just did not match the crime scene, we immediately just shut him down. The story is so far off, and the evidence proves that it's so far wrong, it's so far-fetched it couldn't have happened.
Investigators established that Isaac had no involvement in Chloe's murder. They charged him with no crime in relation to her death.
Once we called Gabriel out on that story, he started to come off of it extremely fast. And at that point, we went down a couple series of different stories. His next step is that Chloe attacks him, and that he was just fighting back.
I just tried to grab your hammer. I didn't mean to. I accidentally hit her with the hammer.
You accidentally hit her with the hammer?
We moved from him accidentally hitting her with the hammer to him saying that he thought she was going to hit him with the hammer, and that's why he grabs it.
We fought like one time with the knife, and then I was right in her throat.
You fell on top of her, and the knife went in her throat?
Yeah.
The knife wound to Chloe was one single cut, falling down on the knife isn't going to cause that kind of wound. Eventually, what we got was going to be close enough to the truth that we were going to get.
She took out like shoes, she grabbed it, and she started hitting it with it, like in my head. And after that, I get mad. I hit her with a hammer.
Where was she at whenever you first struck her with the hammer?
She was walking towards the door to the mine.
Okay. Where the attack starts at is right at Slim's door. How many times did it take for her to fall in?
I hit her with the hammer again, but they only went twice.
And then what?
After I hit her with the hammer, she passed out.
Where was she after she passed out?
In the living room.
Laying on the rug there?
Yeah, on the right.
Why after that? You can tell us. We don't know the answer yet, but we just have to hear from you.
I cut her with a knife. I took her breathing, but eventually she died. Then I dragged her out of the closet and put her in there. I put the knife in there. Took her to the shower and said, "Leave."
After Chloe has been moved and he's showered, he gets Isaac, he gets Slim, he loads them in their car, and they start driving.
Henderson Police Department extradites Gabriel to Kentucky on March 29th.
At that time, he was additionally charged with murder.
Kentucky law prevents Chloe's family from determining what happens to her body.
In the state of Kentucky, the Slayer statute stated that in a result of a death of a spouse, that the next of kin has the right to disposition of human remains. And they had 5 days from the date of notification of death to dispose of these remains however they saw fit.
Gabriel didn't exercise his rights, but he didn't waive his rights. So we had to wait out the 5 days. You've confessed to killing my daughter. Now you want to exercise more control over her dead body?
So after these 5 days were over, it allowed me the ability to make sure that I could bring Chloe home and nobody could ever hurt her again.
The Randolph family successfully petitions the state of Kentucky to disqualify a person charged with murder of a spouse or relative as their victim's next of kin. The Chloe Randolph bill passes into law on April 24th, 2020.
It states now the chain of command goes to adult children, parents, or siblings. So no other family in the state of Kentucky will have to go through that process that we went through.
On September 23rd, 2021, Muhammad Gabriel Abdikadir pleads guilty to the second-degree murder of Chloe. The judge sentences him to 20 years in prison.
You got 20 years for murdering a 20-year-old mother of a 9-month-old. It's an injustice.
Jay and Christy become Slimani's legal parents in November 2021. The Randolph family now runs the Chloe Randolph organization to offer support to victims of domestic violence.
That's what Chloe was about, helping people. I hope she's proud. I'm just proud to have been part of her life.
Hey, Chloe.
You know, I miss all of the times that I had with her.
Hey, Dad!
It's nice to remember. It's also painful because you don't have her here anymore.